A reading from the book of Job, Job chapter 4, verse 1 through 21. Then spoke Eliphaz the Temanite, who said, "If someone attempts a word with you, will you mind? For how can anyone refrain from speaking? Behold, you have instructed many and have made firm their feeble hands. Your words have upheld the stumbler. You have strengthened his faltering knees. But now that it comes to you, you are impatient. When it touches yourself, you are dismayed. Is not your piety a source of confidence, and your integrity of life your hope? Reflect now, what innocent person perishes? Since when are the upright destroyed? As I see it, those who plow for mischief and sow trouble reap the same. By the breath of God they perish, and by the blast of his wrath they are consumed. Though the lion roars, though the king of beasts cries out, yet the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perishes for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lionesses are scattered. For a word was stealthily brought to me, and my ear caught a whisper of it. In my thoughts during visions of the night, when deep sleep falls on men, fear came upon me, and shuddering that terrified me to the bones. Then a spirit passed before me, and the hair of my flesh stood up. It paused, but its likeness I could not discern. A figure was before my eyes, and I heard a still voice. Can a man be righteous as against God? Can a mortal be blameless against the Maker? Lo, he puts no trust in his servants, and with his angels he can find fault. How much more with those that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is the dust, who are crushed more easily than the moth. Morning or evening they may be shattered, with no heed paid to it. They perish forever. The pegs of their tent are plucked up. They die without knowing wisdom." So in the book of Job, we have the most righteous man on earth, Job, and he has 10 children and is very wealthy and is in good health. The devil, Satan, the accuser, comes to God and says, "Let me test him, and I will show that he will curse God if bad things start to happen to him." So first, the children are killed, the possessions are taken, and Job weeps. He rips his clothes and cuts off his hair, but he does not curse God. He says, we accept good things from God, why not also bad things? Then his health is affected, and he is covered in boils. And his friends, 3 friends at first, and then a 4th friend, come to visit him. And these friends sit with him 3 days, neither eating or drinking or speaking. They sit fasting with him in his misery. And here we hear the first speech of the first man trying to make sense of what is happening, trying to make sense of the wickedness, the sorrow, the sadness that has seemed to fall upon Job. And so he says, well, obviously, bad things can only happen to bad people. And so he starts with this in mind, and then he changes his argument a little bit. He says, bad things happen to bad people, and everyone has done something bad. Everyone has done something wrong, and so therefore, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, what is befalling you is because of something that you have done. Now, this is not the truth. This is the position of the world. This is the position of certain scholars. What we're going to see as we continue going back and forth between these three and then finally the fourth friend and Job responding, defending himself, we then will see that God appears. And he says to these men, "You have spoken wrongly of Job. You've spoken wrongly of my servant Job." So it's something for us to think about. That while the world is telling us, maybe this bad thing is happening as a punishment. That while the world is telling us, maybe it's me that has done something wrong. What we see is that God is faithful. That God loves us. That God cares for us. And that in good times and in bad, we should praise his name. We should thank him. But we should not run away from our emotions. If we are sad, if we are angry, if we are afraid, even if we are angry with God, we should be honest with him. We should be honest with him and say, "Lord, I feel angry with you. Lord, I feel scared. Lord, I am doubting." We should be honest with him because he loves us, because he knows us. Let us not be overwhelmed by those voices in the world that are telling us something different. Let us not be overwhelmed by those voices in the world that are saying that this is justice, that this is due to us. Rather, let us have faith and confidence in God, and let us continue in being faithful servants.